We're here at Le Centrale, the legendary restaurant in the heart of San Francisco, in one of the favorite places of my guest today, the Honorable Willie Brown, whom many of us refer to as Mayor Brown. Yes, it's known in San Francisco that there are two mayors, the elected mayor and, of course, Mayor Brown, who is a legend in this community, serving as a Speaker of the House for a record historical number of years, as well as being mayor of San Francisco. He is now enjoying private life as an accomplished businessman. Mayor Brown is the confidant and advisor to many on politics and even entertainment. So stay tuned with Spotlight with Shonda Scott as we have a conversation with Mayor Willie Brown. So first I want to thank you for giving us this behind the scenes access to Mayor Brown's world. And I know this is La Centrale, and this is the room where, as the Hamilton play said, the room where it happens. So first let's just talk about some of the magic that's happened in this room that you can tell us on camera.
Well, we're actually in the place where it was more than 40 years ago that 3 or 4 of us started having lunch every Friday at 107.
Why 107?
Herb Cain, Wilkes Bashford, Willie Brown. We added Sandy Walker, we added Harry DeWitt, and we added Matthew Kelly. And eventually we added John Roth as vacancies became available. Vacancies became available on the death of folk. And there are only 2 of us left. Sandy Walker and I are the only 2 that are left that are still here. There's 1/3 one. He lives in Palm Springs now, so he never comes to lunch anymore. Why 107? 107 just happens to be the exact amount of time it would take Herb Cain to get from 5th and Mission, the Chronicle, where he would finish his column, to walk over here.
Oh, let's see.
Wilkes would come from the store around the corner on Sutter Street, and I would come from wherever.
Right.
But 107 was the time we figured that everybody could be here exactly on time. So it just became, over the years, 107.
Classic. So what were those conversations about? What were you meeting about at lunch then and now?
Herb Cain wrote for the Chronicle. He was a Pulitzer Prize winning columnist for the Chronicle. Wilkes Bashford dressed everybody, men and women, in Wilkes Bashford clothing, which still exists on Sutter Street. And the other participants, Sandy Walker was the architect who designed this restaurant. Harry DeWitt was just kind of a gadfly, literally wealthy person who was better known as Mr. Lunch-a-Lot, because all he did was lunch a lot with people all over. Every day he figured out somewhere to go have lunch with somebody. And Matthew Kelly considered himself of royalty, and it was Sir Matthew Kelly.
Oh, okay.
His business card said Sir Matthew Kelly. But in fact, he owned a private aircraft insurance company based in, of all places, Oklahoma.
Oh.
And the insurance that he sold was in case your airplane was stolen. He never had a claim the whole time that he was in business. He never had a claim. Nobody stole airplanes. That's right. But airplane people would buy airplane insurance. That's right.
Goodness.
So he went on for years,
not
ever having to pay a claim and just collect premiums. And and they're never overcharged.
Right.
You know, you got a $12 million airplane and you pay $100 a year for airplane theft insurance. That's not a bad deal.
Right. That's a good deal. That's a good business on his side.
No question. And within the context of all these different personalities, there was always the dialogue about the city, because each one of us in one capacity or another interacted with some parts of the city. Herb interacted with all of the city. Wilkes interacted with everybody that could afford his high-price clothing store. And the other people just kind of interacted, period. And so it was the place for gossip.
Right. Right.
You
If you could be a fly on the wall, oh my
it
goodness.
was the best gossip. It exceeded anything in barbershops or beauty shops. And it was just as raunchy
Right.
in terms of its application, because who knows what would be the subject matter on any given day,
Right.
on any given lunch. And initially it started because Herb and I were circulating around the city to find the best place to eat lunch at least once a week. And we finally decided that didn't make any sense. Why don't we go to a place where we can demand what we eat?
And they fix what
and
you
this
want.
is it.
Oh, and they love you for it. Did Herb write? So
Oh, yeah. No.
used
His column.
Right. Oh, it was for the
His column came out of the lunch.
Oh my goodness.
The leads, many of the stories that were ultimately reported upon, he got the information
From the
at lunch, or sometimes during the week. He'd call, and something he heard you say at lunch, he'd call and ask you. And being the good reporter that he really was, he would check it out.
right.
So you really couldn't get away with
Yeah.
telling him something that had no true foundation.
He would find out.
Yes.
Now, 40 years ago, you've been all over the place there. So you would always make it to the Friday lunch every Friday.
Every
Even
Friday.
when you were a speaker in Sacramento.
Every
even when-
Friday.
Oh my goodness.
Every Friday.
Oh, you had
It
some
was
good detail.
mandatory.
Yeah, right.
You had to protect your own reputation. The only
Right,
way you
that's
wouldn't be
true.
the subject matter. You were present at
Right.
lunch.
Oh, that's smart.
If you were not present at lunch,
Right.
you may very well be the subject.
Right. We all want to know, how does Willie Brown do what he does, and how did you do it so well for so long and still continue to do it? I mean, you still amaze us all.
Well,
So you can give us a few ingredients. I know you can't
I
give
think
us a whole
no.
recipe.
I think that if there's anything about my world, it's that I really listen. I'm a good listener. I listen to everybody's comments. I listen, and I don't hesitate to express an opinion. And it's never an opinion that has any beneficial components for me. Even if my response is one that might have some negatives for me, it's still the response. And so the ability to listen and to be believed when I say something is probably what causes people to want to know, what does Willie think about it?
And you're fearless. Like, where did you get the fearlessness from?
You call it fearlessness. I'm not sure it's fearlessness. I think it might be not understanding danger.
Well, it works.
Not understanding.
Right. Like,
that
you don't know to be
it might-
afraid.
yeah.
Oh, was I supposed to be afraid of that? Wow.
Why am I going to worry about it?
Right. Right.
I just assume that people are like I am. If it's accurate and it's true, you got to deal with it. And so there's no sense in faking it.
Right.
And therefore, it's not a fake.
So it's just being
Unlike
authentic.
what Trump claims, it's not a fake.
Right. So you're just being authentic.
It's me.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And I don't have to remember it.
Right.
And that's the beauty. My world is one of
You can say
needing
it.
no memory.
Did I say that? I didn't say that.
No,
Wow.
I'm worse than that.
Right.
I said that. Well, I didn't mean it.
You're watching Spotlight with Shonda Scott, and we will be right back.
Your vote is your voice.
Stay silent.
And your opinion is lost.
Your right to vote could be denied.
Changes in state voting laws could affect you.
protect your right to vote. Call 1-866-MY-VOTE1 or visit occupythevote12.org.
It's time to be heard.
Occupy the vote.
Every child needs a mentor, a positive role model. For me, that was my grandmother. For more than 110 years, Big Brothers Big Sisters has been making meaningful, monitored matches between adult volunteers and children. And these positive relationships have direct and measurable impacts. Help a child realize his or her potential. Visit bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just
Please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome to Spotlight with Shonda Scott, where each week we bring you the best and the brightest, the movers and the shakers, and the hidden gems from all over the Bay. Let us shine a spotlight on your business. Sponsorship opportunities are available. For more information, visit us at spotlightwithshonda.tv. Recently, we've seen African American women come into the polls in record numbers, just changing the election. And some of the largest cities are now being run by African American women. But then when you look at the Bay Area, are we ready for that? Are we at a time where we're ready for that momentum, or where do you think we are right now?
The most recent example, under the law in San Francisco, if a vacancy occurs in the mayor's office, the president of the Board of Supervisors is instantly the acting mayor. A black woman, young black woman, London Breed, is the acting mayor. The progressives immediately lined up to say, we don't like that law, that you should not have the gig. We think there ought to be another way. Wait a minute. This city has been in existence all these years.
Right.
The chart has been the same. Dianne Feinstein succeeded to the mayorship. That way, Ed Lee succeeded to the mayorship. Suddenly, a black woman is in a position to be elevated to the full mayorship from an acting position, and all of a sudden, there are some issues with that. They went even further, though. They selected a very moderate, white, wealthy investment banker to the job over the black woman. And they justified it in the debate by saying the black woman was subject to taking orders from the kind of person that they just elected. And so it says to me, we have not come all the way of treating black people equal. On the other hand, black people made a mistake on this one.
Yeah.
She had the job. She did not need to have any motion made to give her the job. So when you ask, are we ready? Not quite.
We better hurry up and get ready then.
We have to have a candidacy so important
Right.
to black people emotionally that they go out of their way. They never participated in politics before.
Right.
They probably never voted before. But I mean, on the Obama train,
They stood in line
voted.
for hours.
That's right. Usually on the first time blacks are running, like when Tom Bradley ran for governor of the state of California, every black. Kamala Harris's candidacy for the attorney generalship, every black.
Right.
And so that's what we have to generate.
Welcome to Spotlight with Shonda Scott, where each week we bring you the best and the brightest, the movers and the shakers, and the hidden gems from all over the Bay. Let us shine a spotlight on your business. Sponsorship opportunities are available. For more information, visit us at spotlightwithshonda.tv.
Hi, I want to talk to you about voting.
About women voting.
Did you know that 25% of the electorate are single women?
Women on their own?
But only half of us vote. We can change that.
On issues like healthcare, jobs, the environment,
war and peace.
Make a choice.
Make a difference.
Vote.
Register to vote today.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Stay linked in with us as you follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember, #Spotlight with Shonda. You also are a movie buff. Many people don't know that. So
that's my hobby.
But okay,
That's my
so
hobby.
you have Oscar picks already? Do you have your picks for the Oscar?
Well, not exactly. I'm going to do an Oscar broadcast on Friday, the 2nd of March.
Okay.
The Oscars are on the 4th, that following Monday.
Where are you going to broadcast?
KCBS.
Okay, so you're going to go live in studio?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do KCBS every Friday anyway. And we've chosen that Friday to make it Oscar Friday. So by then I will have made my decision. I can tell you now, though, that I don't think the country's ready, but Get Out ought to be the best film of the year.
Now that would be a good one.
Get Out ought to be the best film of the year.
Yeah.
I'm seeing, for an example, Black Panther tonight.
But it's going to be an excellent movie because it just is a cultural movie, but then it's also a superhero. I mean, there's a superhero. My brother read those books when he was a young kid, the Black Panther, that superhero. But then they weave in the whole Black Panther party
What I'm proud
somehow.
of, though, is it's getting the same kind of promotional financing that Star Wars.
Right.
There's been no other action hero except years ago when they did the first Iron Man
right.
and the first Superman. This is the first time in all that time period
It's
that
gonna
you've
make
had
$1
a
billion.
kind of. They already been on the Today Show. They had a whole segment today interviewing.
Time Magazine.
Everything.
I love it. I'm ready. It comes out on my birthday. I'm excited.
It comes out Friday. They release
Friday.
it Friday.
That's my birthday.
Yeah. All right, that's your birthday. Huh?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
So it's the first day of Chinese New Year's. It's my birthday, and Black Panther comes out. I'm like, this is a good year. You also have been going to Clive Davis's pre-Grammy party for years. So I've never been. I've been to the Grammys, but I've never been to
I've
that
gone
party.
to everyone.
So tell us,
I've
it was
gone
in
to
New
everyone.
York this year. So what?
It's better than the Grammys
I can
because
believe
it
that.
has more glamour associated with it. There are almost no ordinary citizens. It's all really a celebrity show. Everybody at every table is somebody in the music world or in the world itself. For an example, one of the years that I went, my date was seated next to Buzz Aldrin, one of the astronauts who had been on the moon. And this person that I was with had no idea who was going. And because they separate you.
So they separate the couples.
Yeah, they separate the couples.
That. Everybody's somebody sitting next to somebody.
Somebody with somebody. Buzz Aldrin. She was seated next to Buzz Aldrin. She talked about knowing the astronaut, the first Russian astronaut, whose name I forget at the moment. But she talked about having met him and knowing that he had been to the moon.
Right.
And so he says to her, I know him too. I've been to the moon. And she laughed. Oh, no, never kidding.
That doesn't sound like, it sounds like a cliche.
So I went over to visit her. She said, you don't believe this guy. He said he'd been to the moon. I said, he has. She said, what? I said, he has been to the moon. That's Buzz Aldrin. She said, who's Buzz Aldrin?
Oh, my goodness.
I said, he's one of America's most famous astronauts.
Incredible.
Not quite Neil Armstrong, but he's...
Right.
I was at a table this year with Gladys and
Gladys Knight?
yeah, she was sitting directly across from me. But I was sitting right next to the woman who heads BET.
Oh, Deborah Johnson.
Lee.
Deborah Lee.
Deborah Lee.
Right,
Seated right to Deborah Lee. On the other side of Deborah Lee was Mava, who runs MTV, who does all the stuff for MTV. So I'm sitting.
So you're in the midst of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jay-Z and Beyonce were there this year too, right? Oh, they honored Jay-Z.
Beyonce and Jay-Z were. This is Clyde's party, so they were honoring nobody at Clyde's party.
Okay.
But they were at the next table. Beyonce and Jay-Z were at the very next table. And so, during the course of conversation, somebody asked me, and I said, well, I'm kind of old school. And he said, what do you mean you're old school? I said, well, everybody in this room can hum Gladys's Midnight Train to Georgia.
They can hum it to themselves. Yep.
Everybody can hum it. I said, not anybody in here except maybe Beyonce can harm anything JC has done.
That's true.
And the play, and the other end of the table start telling that story all over the time. So that guy Willie Brown just put it in proper perspective.
Hi. I want to talk to you about voting.
About women voting.
Did you know that 25% of the electorate are single women?
Women on their own?
But only half of us vote. We can change that.
On issues like healthcare, jobs, the environment.
War and peace.
Make a choice.
Make a difference.
Vote.
Register to vote today.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Well, now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome to Spotlight with Shonda Scott, where each week we bring you the best and the brightest, the movers and the shakers, and the hidden gems from all over the Bay. Let us shine a spotlight on your business. Sponsorship opportunities are available. For more information, visit us at spotlightwithshonda.tv. This year was in New York, so how was it this year?
It wasn't as good as
It
LA.
wasn't. See, I thought
LA
the
is
show
better.
was good, but
LA,
it's
in
more
part
glamorous.
because the music performers live in and around Los Angeles.
That's true.
They don't live in New York.
That's true.
Straight out of Compton, they lived in Compton.
Right.
To show you how important the West Coast is to music, Motown moved from Detroit to Beverly Hills.
That's true.
They live. That's where they were.
Everybody's in LA.
Absolutely. Michael Jackson and the Jackson folk all lived. Everybody moved in and around LA. And so it was always incredible that the party's there, because they all came.
That's true.
Quincy Jones, they all came. No, New York. You didn't get the same flavor in New York.
Oh, you didn't get
the same level of glamour in New York. And they had not staged the Grammys or the Grammy parties for 15 years. So they were not even ready in restaurants and bars and places for the Grammy. They were okay with, what happens with the Tony Awards. They were okay with live theater. Right. They were okay with the UN, but they were not ready.
They weren't ready for the Grammys.
No.
So what do you think about Tupac? I mean, how do you feel about the Tupac? Was it Tupac?
I think
a prolific poet or?
And all of that started really with Quincy. Quincy was the first one that tried to give some structure for universal acceptance. I think we've forgotten that Motown moved America into black music.
That's true.
You had Count, and you had Duke, and you had Sarah, and you had Ella, but they didn't move young people. They were still playing in the segregated world.
That's true.
When the Supremes and the Vandellas and the Temptations and Marvin Gaye and those guys came along, and then they made the transition into Michael Jackson. They made the transition into Jackson 5 and then Michael Jackson. And then they did Lionel Richie. Suddenly, all of America, all of the world.
Right.
And then when places like the Rolling Stones knocked off black music and, people in that category, suddenly you had black music really meaning a lot more. Quincy, I think, was the first regular standard guy to try to give some structure to all these street musicians, and that's what the hip-hop people really were. They were just cats standing around a fire plug carrying on. And they went from doing that harmony that they used to do around the fire plug to rapping, as they call it. And he moved it into acceptance. And young white kids all over the world, start rapping. And you had Eminem and that crowd start to do that. And but it never, ever translated into universal music as much of R&B did.